So, what does the happiness of a city have to do with a country's gold reserves or its military might? Well, today, we're going to connect those dots. We're taking a snapshot of India in late 2025 to see how its people, its economy, and its global ambitions all tie together. And we're going to start right here with just a single number, 94%. Right now, it probably seems a little random, but trust me, this one figure tells a really powerful human story. Because you see, that number is the key to our first story. And this story really sets the stage for everything else we're about to look at. It's all about the mood on the ground. Get this. According to a recent survey by Time Out, Mumbai has been named the happiest city in all of Asia. And that's where our number comes in. A staggering 94% of the people who live there say the city brings them genuine joy. Now, we're not just talking about some vague, oh, things are okay kind of feeling. The survey really dug into it, and you can see the vast majority feel this joy. And it's tied directly to the city's incredible energy. You know, the world-famous food, the vibrant culture, that bustling nightlife. It's a kind of happiness you can actually feel just walking the streets. But, you know, a happy population needs a stable foundation to stand on. So let's shift gears a little from the social vibe to the economic core. A nation's confidence is so often reflected in how it manages its wealth, especially its most important assets. In this slide perfectly captures two stories happening at the exact same time. On one side, you have this big, strategic, long-term move to strengthen the country's economic independence. And on the other, you've got the day-to-day reality of global markets. It gives us a really fascinating, complete picture. So let's talk about that long-term play. The Reserve Bank of India has been physically bringing its gold back home from vaults in places like London. We're talking 575.8 tons now stored inside the country. And this is way more than just logistics. It's a huge statement about economic sovereignty, about protecting your assets from whatever happens out there in the world. But at the very same time, the market's going to do what the market's going to do, right? India's foreign exchange reserves dipped to this level by the end of October. It was actually the second week in a row that they'd fallen. So that's the real key here. It's this constant balancing act between securing long-term stability and dealing with short-term pressures. Okay, so you're building this strong economic foundation. What does that allow you to do? Well, it lets you project strength. And not just with money. It's about how you position yourself on the world stage. And a perfect example of this is the Malabar 2025 naval exercise. This is a big one. It's happening off the coast of Guam, and it brings together the Quad nations. That's India, the US, Japan, and Australia. And India participating with a modern warship like the INS Sahadri, well, that's not just about running drills. It sends a really clear signal about its commitment to security in the Indo-Pacific. All right, so we've looked at the economy and military strategy. Let's bring the focus back home and see how India is building from within. And this development is really happening on two parallel tracks, the physical and the digital. On the physical side, you're seeing massive investment. To mark its 25th anniversary, the state of Uttarakhand launched projects worth more than 8,000 crore rupees. And these aren't just abstract numbers. These are projects that directly impact daily life. We're talking better energy, better education, and better water infrastructure. And then there's the digital side, which is taking this huge leap forward. The goal is to digitally empower over 1.4 billion people through the Aadhaar identity system. And the latest innovation is incredible, a new AI-based face authentication. It makes secure digital access available to literally anyone with a smartphone camera. And you can see here just how much of a game changer this is. What used to need special hardware, like a fingerprint reader, can now be done with the phone that's already in your pocket. It's a massive move to make digital life more accessible, more secure, and just easier for everyone. So, how do all these different pieces, the economic strength, the strategic moves, the domestic development, how do they all connect to a bigger vision? Well, it all really comes down to a very human focus. This is the core principle of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. It's a global framework that India is deeply committed to, and it's a simple but incredibly powerful promise that any progress has to reach every single person, no exceptions. And you can see that big promise in action on a really personal human level. This is the theme for World Pneumonia Day on November 12th. It takes that huge global goal and brings it right down to one of the most fundamental things there is, the health of a child. And the key is that this isn't just a slogan. It translates into actual policy, like making the life-saving pneumococcal vaccine a standard part of the national immunization program. It's such a powerful reminder that behind all the big numbers and grand strategies, the real goal is to protect the well-being of every citizen. So, this snapshot of India in late 2025 really leaves us with this one central question to think about. How does a nation balance that pursuit of power on the world stage with the fundamental promise of protection for its own people? It connects the joy in a city, the security of an economy, and the strength of a military, all the way back to that quiet, fundamental goal of protecting every single breath. And that's the balancing act to watch.